A lot of my friends are telling me that, Regina, you're only focusing on looks. Isn't that vain? Like, is looks only going to conquer your insecurities? I don't think so. I think it has a balance, right? Because I cannot just have positive affirmation and saying you look beautiful, but I don't put efforts in my looks. I don't put efforts in the way I dress up.
Please subscribe and turn on your notifications to stay tuned to the latest updates at the Powder Room Talk.
I was not necessarily working from home.
But you also
during this last year, I actually sometimes tried to be really intentional with what I was wearing at home, because I realized I was wearing the sweatpants too often, or like ugly shirts, and I thought I have so many beautiful things in my wardrobe, they don't get used. And if I would wear them, I would feel very special. So sometimes I would put on really nice clothes at home, and then I would put on some makeup, maybe not too thick, but just a little bit. And I would put on some earrings, and then and my wedding ring, you know, which I would usually take off if I'm not going out. And then my kids would ask me, "Where are you going, mommy?" And I'm like, I'm just being at home. But also, you know, having beautiful clothes at home is not for other people.
Yes, for you.
I mean,
for
it's nice that other people can enjoy looking at me when I wear something nice. But those things are not reserved for special. It doesn't have to be reserved for special days. I actually put it on myself, and it makes me feel good about myself no matter where I am, and it gives me a confidence boost, even though nobody might see it. But it does that to our own little inner. Our own little heart.
So my home is my stage.
And I love like how we are all agreeing on this, because I think like there's also power in dressing appropriately for the occasion. Because like, even though we're saying now we're talking in the context of dressing up at home because this is the situation that we're in now, but it is an appropriate thing to dress up, you know, and you feel more engaged with the situation, you feel more engaged with what you do. And I think when we're also dressed appropriately, it also helps us have better confidence in articulating and communicating ourselves. Because I think a third part of, like, you know, other the first two very practical points is also communication, learning how to actually communicate well with others. And I think once we start working on wanting and desiring to communicate and present ourselves well, we start also practicing learning the different etiquettes. Because I think knowing that is very important. It's part of your image. Because it's the impression you leave other people.
The point is that speaking about appearance, that suit your personality, your skin color, your body, we have to remember also that be yourself, but be mindful.
Be mindful, yes.
Be yourself, but be mindful. It's talking about how you have a manner.
Yes, manners.
In a social setting. You have an etiquette, how to behave, because you have to be mindful of others.
So if your parents never told you, or if your surrounding has never taught you how to, how to have this etiquette, how to eat, how to talk to people, how can you learn that later on?
I think the thing that we have to do is investing yourself, good grooming, be healthy, but we have to remember also investing yourself in knowledge. How to learn something that, for example, like how to eat in a Western restaurant, in a fine dining restaurant, you know, like not for only to impress someone else, but actually for us.
I totally agree on that point, because as I was saying, when you learn to communicate and then you go into etiquette, and one thing that as the world is globalizing today, I think it's very important for people to actually make that effort to learn, or maybe you know, that's in my, when I image coach someone, I would put that into a focus. I want to understand who are the people that you deal with on a daily basis, because it is very important. There are certain things that you do in certain cultures even within the Asian cultures, it could be okay for the Chinese.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
absolutely rude for the Japanese or the Koreans. But whatever the Korean,
I had to learn so much about that.
and I'll just give a very simple example so that it makes more sense. It's like, for example, when I first went to JIS, I would have Western friends. You know, they would order a rice bowl from the cafeteria, and you'd be eating chopsticks. And they would take the 2 chopsticks and they would stick it after they're done. They stick it right in the middle of the bowl and they continue talking to you. I mean, I'm an international school kid, so I understand they don't understand the etiquette. But imagine today, if you're with China being such an important country and rising in power, you're trying to do business with a Chinese person, and you do that with your rice bowl. Usually, the Chinese people do that as an offering for the dead.
Yes.
When you, when you know,
the chopstick,
and so without understanding these cultural contexts, you're actually being absolutely insulting, and not dressing.
Can I give you an example of the other way around?
Okay.
So it's absolutely okay, or it's even honoring to the chef if you slurp your noodles in Asian culture, right? Like noodle soup.
Yeah.
Let me give an
Okay.
give an impression. That's how you eat noodle soup or noodles, and it's absolutely fine, right? My daughter has learned how to eat Asian noodles that way, and now she eats spaghetti that way. And for the past months, I've been trying to teach her. You eat spaghetti like this, then you lift them up, and you move them to your mouth, and you don't slurp, and you don't chew loud. Otherwise, it's really rude. It's super rude, and it looks like you look like a pig when you're eating, because it's spaghetti with tomatoes, but you can't do that. It just doesn't work, right? I mean, she makes it work, but it doesn't look very nice. But these are the things that we have to learn of each other. We don't have to learn them. I honestly think we don't have to learn them. But if we don't feel insecure going into certain situations, it's really good to know those etiquettes, right?
Yeah.
It gives you confidence. It gives you confidence that you're not offending anyone, you're not embarrassing yourself, you're leaving a good impression.
Yeah.
And I think those are important skills that we don't have to overthink that over and over.
It's like a life skill to learn, and also it's a form of respect. I'm not saying you need to like for me, I like that kind of things, and I help people with that kind of things. That's why I know all sorts of stuff like that. But I'm just saying, when you want to leave an impression, it's actually not so much I want to impress the person. When you're a person that respects somebody else's culture, it's just like, and also dressing up for the occasion. Yeah. Because sometimes I think people are so fixated with ourselves, we forget that people spend a lot of time, no matter how fancy or how casual the occasion is. It's like if Viola, it's like, oh, please come over my house. I would love to cook a meal for. I wouldn't show up, like, oh, it's going to my, buddy girlfriend's house. I just show up cash. No, I would dress up a little because I respect her effort in cooking the meal and hosting us. And I think there's a lot of beauty and understanding and making ourselves a much more beautiful person when we carry ourselves, in such a manner.
Then how not to make it looks quite vain? Yeah, because a lot of my friends are telling me that, Regina, you're only focusing on looks. Isn't that vain? Like, is looks only going to conquer your insecurities? I don't think so. I think it has a balance, right? Because I cannot just have positive affirmation and saying you look beautiful, but I don't put efforts in my looks. I don't put efforts in the way I dress up. So it really, like you mentioned, is superficial. It's like a fine line, but we need to find a balance, because I think both are important. Working on your inner self, meaning accepting yourself, understanding yourself, knowing people's shape are different, but at the same time you need to put efforts too in terms of your outward appearance, because believe me, again, I'm a true believer, if you look good, you feel good, because I have experienced that, but it's not gonna, diminish my insecurities at the same time or straight away. But it helps me. I think that is the key word. It's helping you working through your insecurities in life.
Yeah, I think we have to know the difference, right, between looking good for building our confidence, or it's just it's just a vanity. The difference is like when we put our identity into or on what we are wearing, or I put my identity on my bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
How much is my bag? How expensive? And then when you cannot have it, then you lose your identity.
You
right?
feel like you're nobody
Yes.
without this bag.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
without this brand, or
But if you build your inner self first, and then Regina said before that we have to be balanced. How do you present yourself well? Because you reflecting your confidence. It's a balance. I think.
I love that, because it's like, again, media bombards us every day to keep up with the Jonases, and forcing you, because of commercialization, I understand, to drive us to chase every single trend. I think sometimes maybe the word is working on being the best attractive self. Your own best attractive self requires work. So I think like what the fine line is, I completely believe in having a polished image. And what that actually, I think personally, what a healthy way of having a polished image is actually, it's better to hone your own understanding of what is actually quality in a clothing. What is a good cut, in a shirt, for your body shape, and what is a well-made piece of item, and understanding what works for you and what's not. Because I think when you actually understand why this piece of item is worth this much, or what actually constitute quality, it actually also slowly develops our class. Because a lot of people think like, buying expensive things is what makes me look expensive. Unfortunately, that's not the case. If you don't actually develop your class, there's a Chinese saying, you wear the dragon's robe, which is the emperor's robe. There are people that put on the emperor's robe but will never be the emperor. That's the actual definition as that, because they put on that robe, but they're just pretending, because they don't even understand what is so good about the emperor's robe other than it gives me stature. And there's the same thing with the different things that we use, and I think like developing our understanding and honing the taste of what works for us, understanding what is quality, you would actually gradually have a more elegant presence.
There's a lot of people out there that really don't feel worthy wearing good quality clothes, beautiful clothes. They don't actually feel like they deserve it in a way, like they don't think it's for them. And then they choose, even though they might have beautiful things in their wardrobe, they might opt for the jeans and the tee because, that makes them feel more comfortable, because it feels more like them. And what if you wake up every morning and you wake up, I'm like, I'm a princess today, and I'm gonna dress that way because I know I'm someone special. And I can wear that
confidently.
Big purple, pink, red, yellow, shiny dress because I can, because it feels like it's me. So I feel like we can only dress as elegant and beautiful and valuable as we feel on the inside.
That's true.
Or you try to cover up, I think, or there are lots of us that try to cover up the unworthy inside with something very shiny on the outside, so nobody actually sees how dirty it is inside.
Wow, that is.
And I think there's both sides, right?
There's both.
There's so many different varieties of insecurities, and I just want to encourage our audience that you're special, you're wonderfully made, you are worth it to wear the most exquisite clothing. And if you have something very beautiful in your wardrobe, or it might be a bag that's really beautiful and special to you, or something that has been handed down to you, use it, wear it, because you're worth it. And but if you feel like you're just covering up things on the inside that are not beautiful, that are not good, that you want to cover up, and you feel so unworthy inside, and you just put on this facade of beauty, then I really want to encourage you, go inside and work on it, because there's so much work you can do in yourself. And don't listen to the lies that you've been telling yourself your whole life, that you are not worth it because of something that maybe someone did to you, or something someone said to you out of envy or out of hate.
Yeah.
It's not your identity.
Yeah.
Your identity is much bigger than that. And just start dressing the way you feel, you know?
I
Like,
agree. I think the key word is don't cover it up. Don't use a clothing or a dress to cover up your insecurities. You know, like you say, for me, I'm comfortable wearing t-shirt and jeans and still rocking it good if I feel confidence on that day. You know, I feel good, like I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I can also wear a very expensive clothing and feel like a crap, you know, on that day. It's just because it's not me, or like I still feel crap in this dress. I don't feel confident. So again, I think the keywords is so good. Like, don't cover it up with the clothing or the outward appearance. Wear everything that makes you comfortable and look good on you, you know, and making you feel good too.
And in fact, if I want to add to that to the audience, is nowadays there is a lot of apps that forces you to augment your photos. I think a little bit of touch up, I think that is okay, but I have seen some extreme augmentation, or many girls would refuse to post any of their pictures without first editing them, without trying to make their body look slimmer, legs longer, you know, everything. They fix so much
eyes
about
more
their
Bambi-like.
and they're so afraid of being seen just who you are. But you know, actually, people, you would feel so much more loved and so much more confident when your friends like your pictures, love you for just the way you are, just how you were made and born from your parents' womb. And you should find people in your ecosystem, in your social circle, that helps you embrace that. Not to encourage that we all need to, you know, put on style or fashion a certain way so that we'll be accepted, so that we'll be liked by society. It's more important to actually really like yourself from the inside, because that would radiate from the outside. And yes, looking attractive is fantastic, but we need to be very healthy in our how we see and look at our image. If you're afraid that you have a photo on the internet that you're not going to like, and you're very conscious about that, that's going to actually enslave you big time. And don't stop letting media do that to you.
I think we women have to use our voice to empower another women, because I believe that like I told you before, like, lift as you climb.
Lift as you climb.
Lift as you climb.
Yes.
And we have to empower another women who have many insecurities, and maybe every day they have also to silence their lies, right?
Silence their lies,
So as we climb, we'll lift others up, because we may not be on top of the mountain yet.
Yes.
Who is?
But as we all climb, we'll lift each others up. I think that was
Yes.
a really good closing quote. Episode, right?
Thank you for your time again. I mean, this was fantastic.
Yes.
And, to our audience, I hope you enjoyed this time with us as we talk about why having a polished image is not vanity. I really hope that we have been able to encourage you to love yourself first and foremost from the inside, and that our little practical tips on how you can try to learn how to become the most attractive, best version of you and not of someone else. As always, we send you a lot of love and light. See you next time at the Powder Room.
And don't forget to leave us your comments below. We would really like to hear how you felt and what stood out for you while you were watching this. And if there's anything you want to ask us, please go ahead. And also don't forget to click the subscribe button. And also forward this to your friends. If you have a friend you think would benefit from this conversation and would maybe find healing in this, please forward. We love you. See you next time.
Bye.